In the shadow of decay I rise, typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nerves rot I lay worlds to waste. The reaper's scythe, no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Nameless howl, the galaxy falls. The pestilent tides, new life is born. Nurgle's passing, a twisted grace. I embrace your heart in my cold embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.
Yeah, no, let's go for it, man.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Disgusting Resident Podcast. Sorry, that's Mr. Dave, you can see right there, because I need to quickly sort out some camera doodads, because I was not expecting Mr. Dave to be joining us tonight, but alas, here he is. So bear with me 2 seconds while I go and get our screens up so we can have me and Mr. Dave on here. So you're going to have me disappear for a second on the screen, and then it'll all be fixed in a second. So I'll deactivate this, and I go hide,
nice, man.
And I'll let Dave take over and distract you for a little bit.
Hello, everybody. He does the plague surgeries, but I do like to jump in and out of these because it is good for sorry, no, it's good for either one of us to do it because it's actually good to have someone else to bounce off of for these bits and to go through your lists. Thank you to everyone who submitted them. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. I'll do a bit of the early stuff while Aidan's just finishing that. You can support the channel by subscribing, hitting the bell notification down below. We are close to 9.5k subs, so everyone else who joins would be great. Good to see some regular members in the chat, as well as some people who are not members yet. But remember, do that. You can just click the join button down below. If you struggle to find it in mobile, which I know a lot of people watch on, Aidan, am I right in saying that link is in the community tab?
Yeah, I can also post it in the chat if that's people would like. That is not an issue Right, I now need to just quickly load the Discord up via a second method
Yeah, man.
because I am talking to you on this one, so
Yeah,
we'll use the
go for it,
internet
mate.
browser version. But yeah, it's good to see everyone here in the chat. And thank you for sort of bearing with us. I know it's Monday, it's normally a Sunday for a plague surgery. But things have been a bit hectic. There is a lot going on behind the scenes at DRP.
There is.
We've got some new series in the plan. Like, for example, Sam is currently... Emperor's Children is about to become fully legal, and Sam is very eager to make a little channel, a little series on the channel about. I think he's called it The Pursuit of Perfection, which is a great name, I think.
Yeah, it's great. I really like it.
So we're gonna have some bit of Emperor's Children content for people, and myself and Dave have been working on a lot of ways to sort of like. We know our codex is obviously coming out in a certain period of time. When we are, I'm not sure, but we know we're getting 7 attachments. So me and Dave are trying to find out ways to sort of how we're going to do the video. So like, are we just going to have one per detachment? No, it's going to be quite a few per detachment. So we're just trying to split it up because we could give you a 2-hour long video on a single attachment, or we could split it up into overview, list ideas, combos. So we're just trying to obviously get all that working in the background and try and sort of get things going.
It's going to be. I think that the list is getting. It's going to get quite long, so we're really excited for when that does happen. And I think the only one that probably will be quite a long one is, and I'm certainly in for doing this, is when we do our Jack and Ori's story time. Let's read the codex.
Yeah, of course, that's going to be a big one where we actually get the codex and we sit there and go through the...
Yeah, looking forward to such a time.
It will be very good. There we go. I have the lists up on the screen. I will quickly just move that in there.
Do you want me to do a quick jump in into chat whilst you do finish that one up?
You go through our chat for us while just quickly.
Cool. So yeah, as always, thanks to everyone who's joined. Madsgram, it looks like you got the first comment in there, so nice. Travis, you got great. There's a pukey face in there we always love. Darian Saunders, welcome to being a Plague Marine. Thank you very much.
Oh, I need to do Will's job for him. 1 second.
Go and do Will's job. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. Great. Necros, how you doing? Noir, hello everyone. Tom Williams, really good. Music Drive, good to see you, man. How you doing? Natalie, thank you very much for the chat. So Laser Chicken, who got that? No, you got it. Nat gifted herself a membership. Well done. I did that the other week. That was quite funny. So good job. Congratulations, Nat. So thank you to Nat.
So the main Discord moderator / thumbnail creator is now a member. Yay!
Thanks. In the same way that I managed to give myself a membership the other week, which was quite fun. Nice. Last few people to say hi to: Bladius, David the Nurgling. Hi, how you doing? John Swathen, John Stanek. We got Derek, Zygon, and I think we're up to date. So good. I'm glad everyone's doing well. And Necros, thanks for asking back. Yes, we're very good too. Good to be here with you.
We are very excited at the moment for the upcoming future of Death Guard. We are in the hype zone at the moment. Obviously, we're sort of coming to the end of the
all aboard the
index. Yeah, we're full aboard the hype train, but we have a job to do. Nice plague surgery. So for maybe people who aren't new, here plague surgery is the stream we try and do weekly, where basically we get, if you are a Plague Marine member, which is one of the people who have supported us by clicking the join button. It's like I said, David said before, it's £3 a month. But if you are a member, you can come into our Discord. Once you become a member, the link is in our YouTube channel homepage. Go to the community tab, scroll down, you'll see a post because you're now a member, and it's the link and you can join the Discord. Once you're in here, we have a tab called Plague Surgery. You basically just paste your list in there, and we review it on these kind of streams. You pick out a few to review. We are changing how this works. We're not going to really bother too much because we're going to probably make all the change when the codex comes out, because it's just a good point to transition, really. When that codex does come out, we'll basically the surgery itself, the channel will be locked, and then 2 days before a stream we will unlock it. You guys can all post your lists, and then it'll be locked again. It's just a better way for us to keep on top of it, and we try to get to as many as possible. But the codex stream is going to be 4 hours. No, it's going to 4 hours. Amateur.
Those are rookie numbers. Pump those numbers up.
So, but yeah, let's. So, should we jump right in, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, let's just jump in.
So what we do also like to say is, if you are in the chat right now, give us a shout, tell us what your list is in the actual Discord, and we'll try and prioritize you guys, because it's just an easy way for us to get a discussion between you, because the more information you give to us, the more we can help you with your list. But yeah, and as Dave said, thank you very much to everyone who's gifted a membership already or became a member. Mr. Darian, appreciate it massively. So Darian, actually, great place to start, because he just became a member and he's just posted, I believe, saying that he's posted his list in there. There you go. My list is under Atlas in the Discord. Let's find Atlas. There you are, Mr. Atlas. Right, so let's start with this one, Dave. I shall read it out for us.
Go for it, man.
I am personally enjoying playing with a bit more of a toughness skew, but don't enjoy tank-heavy lists like Plague Storm. Valid. This was my solution, which I have great results with, but the wins seem to be very dependent on whether my Despoiler dies or not. So we got a Despoiler, Dave. You like Mr. Blasty.
Yeah, we do. We're a fan of that.
So we've got Mortarion, Typhus, a lot of Contagion. Then we've got 2 squads of Cultists. Again, always great scoring pieces. We like that. A squad of 3 Death Shroud Terminators. 1 squad of 10 Poxwalkers, 1 squad of 20 Poxwalkers. So I imagine Typhus with the 20, the Lord of Contagion with the Death Shroud.
Yep.
Then we've got 2 Predator Destructors, one with Last Cans, one with Plague Heavy Bolters. Then we've got 2 Fetid Bloatrons with the Heavy Blight Launchers each. Then we've got Knight Despoiler with the 2 Battle Cannons. We do love him.
We love him.
2 units of Nurglings and Rotigus. So 3 Toughness 12 big lads there, Dave.
Big boys. Yep.
So as someone who recently just went to an event with the big Blasty Knight himself,
yep.
Did you take Mortarion in that list as well?
No, I didn't actually. I kept him out because I took a Land Raider.
That was it. So how do you feel about Mr. Knight Despoiler?
So big fan of the Knight Despoiler. I assume, sorry if I missed the beginning there. Is it? I assume this is Plague Company, right? To get the benefit.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah. So big Mr. Knight Despoiler is a great piece. What I would say is, given that, and I played a very, just to your point at the beginning, Atlas, I played a very, very tank heavy list. Is to make sure that you've got scoring units. Because if you're playing tactical, there you can get very easily. People use the term diced. You can also get carded at the beginning if you get things like containment and engage on all fronts, or depending on what you're starting on. So if you haven't got units, you can either throw out there to score those points, or you get 2 turns of bad secondaries with a very big bulky list of units. It can go against you. It can be difficult, but having said that, the big benefits of the big boy are certainly that. You're almost always going to be starting him either behind a middle ruin or behind another ruin that you can just walk straight through. So my number 1 tips on just quickly using him are work out where you're going to put that first. And I would do a bit, if it's something you're not used to playing with him, is just even at home, just set up and work out roughly where it needs to go, and tell your opponent, kind of that if you're going to put him in and you're going to put a screening in front, that you might just be doing a little bit of wiggling with it. But it's a great piece, and you also don't need to expose it straight away. Use it as a piece to deter your opponent from coming out or from messing up their deployment. I actually would often stick it down first because it's obvious where it's going to go, usually in the middle of the board behind centre big ruin. But then your opponent has got to deal with making sure he doesn't deploy, so anything is exposed against it. Yeah. That's where I'd start.
Good points. So one thing I might suggest here is the best way to make the Knight Spoiler work is you have to almost force your opponent's anti-tank to come out before the Despoiler does. Mm-hmm. You also need to be able to spread Contagion.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Cultists are good for that. But one thing that I would possibly suggest here is on your Fetid Bloat Drones, you might want them to take more of an aggressive role, because we've talked a million times about Bloat Drones. Bloat Drones are great because they are T9, 10 wounds, 3 up, 5 up, which means that your average skirmishing units that most armies have can't kill them. Like, scouts ain't going to kill them. Even jumping intercessors are going to have a hard time to kill them unless they grenade and get real lucky on the grenade and real lucky on a tank shock. So they are great for forcing your opponent to make the first move or exposing a unit. So having them as heavy blight launchers, they play a different role instead. They play a more backfield role, shooting down range. So what I probably would recommend here is either running those spitters or mowers and using them aggressively to force your opponent into a reaction. So you force your opponent to bring out some form of anti-tank to try and deal with these things, and then your Despoiler can swing on them first. If you do that and you manage to take out a good chunk of their anti-tank, then Rotigus, Morty, and the Despoiler, you need to have Morty and Rotigus up in their face. The Despoiler is the last thing that's going to get shot if it stood at the back just blasting away, if they have 2 massive T12 demons in their face being aggressive. So it's almost a way to survive, a way to keep the Despoiler alive is to play not conservative with the other pieces of your army.
Yeah, and the other thing you need to look at is you've got lots of options here, but with the other thing you want to make sure with that the knight is, what are you putting in front of it to make sure it doesn't get charged turn one, because that's the one thing that screws up that piece bit more than anything else, is it getting bogged down. So always have something that's either, you know, if you're going to use, you're going to throw probably 10 Poxwalkers on your home objective. Are you going to sit 20 in front of it, behind the wall, inch off the wall, so your opponent is not getting that knight into combat? Because it's okay if it gets the Poxwalkers are blocking things and sending it around, like Aiden says, they've got other big things to worry about, and they'll be looking at. I was just looking as well, and you've got 2 cultists, like Aiden said, good for moving out, moving, advancing. If you get first turn, put things into contagion quickly is good. Is it 1 Predator Destructor? Yeah.
2 Predators.
They're two both with las cannons, and one with heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. 3 Dash Shroud, very cool. Yeah, you've got the option of Typhus or Lord of Contagion if it's a choice, but I would probably always say go Lord with a 3. Use Typhus as a deep strike threat, or just to drop in and mortal wound something from behind cover.
Yeah, and
yeah,
don't,
and like
don't
you said,
be afraid with Typhus. I know you've got 20 Poxwalkers in the list, but if you come into a matchup where him regenerating them is probably not going to be a reality, or the -1 -1 physical ballistic skill combo with the -1 to hit isn't really going to come into play, I'd suggest just detaching Typhus, and as Dave said, just running him solo and deep strike, because that's going to help you when you get those annoying action cards, because you can drop in, do a containment, still do his mortal wounds in, because you've got 3 massive units in your list. That's going to help you just score secondaries a little bit easier.
Yeah, agreed. And Will always talks to this. And just to go back to what Aidan was saying on the drones, don't underestimate the 5-up save. It can come in pretty regularly when you need it. So they are a lot tougher to kill than you might think. So I think that's decent. One other potential change to this is combine the 2 the 2 3-man Nurglings into a single 6.
That's not bad.
Because I think because he only needs 3, right? You only need 1 battle line unit for the Roscus.
Yes, he does.
So if you put those 2 3s into a 6 and actually use that as if you get first turn as a good blocking unit, I think that might be a good way to just kind of drop that in, and then if you get first go, you basically are stopping your opponent scouting straight onto a central objective, or putting something out in front of you and blocking you, and then if you get first turn with those guys, you get the added benefit of just then moving them and advancing them and penning your opponent behind the wall. It's just another thing to think about.
Is this list also bang on 2K would be a question I've got to ask you.
I was just having a look. So 300, 380, 460,
I'm quickly
560.
Making it in a list. So we have what?
670, 820, 920, 1060, 1300. Then you've got...
ratio, I'm doing it on the app.
1300, 1480, 1880.
I think you can have me, Dave. I'll be honest.
Oh, hang on. I think this is... I think it's pretty bang on, actually.
Because if we actually have a couple of points, there is something we can do with this. So what I'm thinking is Chaos Knights. Where's the Knight Despoiler? There you are. Where's the Demons?
It's bang on.
Is it bang on 2K?
Yeah.
Ah, damn it. I was hoping we could, if you had 5 points spare, you could do that combination, which would then drop the points cost of the of the unit of Nurglings. And if you had 5 spare, you could pick up Deadly Pathogen as well.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice. Nice little pick up. Not massive, but it's nice.
Yeah, I think the good thing about the 6-man Nurgling, as well as use it as a blocking for the middle, as well as it does mean then you can stick the 2 Poxwalkers on the 2 cultists on the flanks to basically get you. So if you're on a search and destroy or something, you can get straight into kind of 2 places for engage, or you can chuck 1 lot and a drone out into the bottom, like to a bottom objective. I think I'd rather do that than have 2 units of 3 Nurglings. Personally, that's my only other change. And then I would use the 20-man Poxwalker to sit in front of the knight, and then also to pressure the middle, if you want to throw them out, and basically then just make sure that they could chase up some cultists, which you might pen your opponent in after scout and move in an advance, and then put 20 Poxwalkers on after that. And if they bring out stuff to deal with it, your knight can blat it away, or your Predator Destructor with heavy bolters can blat it away.
So I think that's all about. Really, I would change to me would be have the bloat drones become more of an aggressive role potentially. I also might advise just dropping the last cannons to play heavy bolters, because just for the reliability. Last cannons are so whiffy, and like two of them is really whiffy. Like having 6 kind of makes the dice, like just because you've got 6 of them, it's like okay, it kind of makes it up. I would never go with 1 just with last cannons, so I'd go with 2 plague heavy bolters there. But yeah, only all small changes. But like you said, just I think this is more going to be a play style adjustment because it said you're winning, you're doing well with it, which means it's doing well. You just wins feel dependent on the Night Despoiler, so just make sure you're forcing out the things that can kill the Night Despoiler with stuff like the Flesh Mordrons, with Rotagus, with Mortarion. Because as long as that Night Despoiler lives, that thing will kill like a unit a turn, which is pretty good.
It will kill a unit a turn, and also don't underestimate that it can. Once you've got something in contagion, they put a dreadnought out. You make it 10 down to 9. You're winning it on 3s suddenly with a strength 10 battle cannons, and you've got it at AP2. Like that thing will kill vehicles as well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool list, Atlas. I really like that list, to be honest.
I like the 3-2-12 models. I like the idea of just chucking Rotti and Mortigus at their face, penning them in with some Nurglings, getting your scouts out with that, and 2 heavy blight launchers. Aiden and I are both massive fans of the heavy blight launcher. So yeah, nice list.
Nice. So we'll do Orgs now because he's also in the chat. I can see you there, Mister. You are Eric Nix. How are you doing, Eric? I also a new member as well to Discord. Yay! Hi.
Oh, hey, Eric.
Doing, welcome. Thank you for the support.
Welcome. Thanks for joining.
So this is for a small tournament in America with a regular dense terrain for RTTs.
Oh, looking for Orc. Okay, hold on.
So we have Biological Putrefire,
nice.
Death Guard Icon Bearer, Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator Armor, Foul Blight Spawn, Lord of Contagion, Mortarion, Typhus. Then we've got 180 point 10-man Plague Marines. We've got the 2 Flamers in the Plague Marine squad, then it's all melee weapons. Then we've got 2 squads of 3 Death Shroud Terminators, so I'm going to guess it's going to be LOC in one, Sorcerer Terminator in the other.
Yeah.
Double Bloat Drone, triple Plague Burst Crawler.
Nice.
1 squad of 10 Poxwalkers, and then 2 squads of Nurglings. Right, okay, so this is...
He's written a little description at the bottom as well.
Sorry, apologies.
Rhino with melee marines and foul blight spawn and biologist, icon bearer to spread contagion in turn 1 or 2 to help mortars and for boil blight. Morty and mortars for reroll 1s to wound. Death Shroud with character for rapid ingress. Typhus, I'm not sure what to do with him. Nodlings for infiltrate. Deep strike. Pox for home objective. 2 plague drones for secondaries and trading. I don't have cultists or more Death Shroud or predators. I have 1 war dog ready, working on 3 more. I'll make Will happy. I have Blight Haulers, more Virion characters, more Rhinos and Marines, and Poxwalkers. I'm very flexible.
Right, okay, cool. So, what I am looking at right now is that is a lot of points in characters.
This is 2k on the nose as well. Yeah.
2k on the nose. It's a lot of points in characters. So, the Death Guard Icon Bearer is an interesting one. I understand the logic of it.
685 points in characters.
Yeah, the only problem I have straight up here is that the Icon Bearer can't be in the Rhino, which means you can't launch your mate.
Nope.
Because obviously the Plague Marines take all the space, which means he's going to have 5 plus a d6 move, which is still okay. But honestly, for the points of an Icon Bearer, I would rather have the utility of a Cultist squad. Obviously, you're 2 kind of know, so you'd have to find 5 points elsewhere. But again, we'll come around to again, as we said before, you can combine these Nurglings into 1 unit. You get actually a discount for doing that. So I would combine these into 1 unit and then use the spare points to get a squad of cultists instead of an Icon Bearer. Also means you're less heavy on the character front. Now, you say you're a bit unsure what to do with Typhus. Typhus is fine solo, that's not an issue. Another thing you could potentially do is find a way to get 20 Poxwalkers in there, but I don't think that's kind of going to work in this list. You've got a big fight first brick of Plague Marines here. Now, so the question is, we have obviously got 2 rapid ingress threats. What's going to hold the secondary, your natural expansion? Is it just going to be the 10-man fight first Plague Marines? Because that's fine. I've done that plenty of times. So then it's all about fighting outside of that, and where do we fight? How do you attack your opponent? So 2 Death Shrouds with the rapid ingress is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think I'd combine them, but I have one slight peeve with the Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator. I like the Sorcerer in larger squads, Dave, personally. Because
you get more value from the
because the -1 damage sort of makes you want to make a tanky brick, whereas for me, 3-man Death Shroud Terminators are like Surgeon's Precision Tool. That's Lord of Contagion time, because that thing just goes, kills something, and then what happens after that?
Yeah, it punches way above.
Yeah. So, triple Plague Crawler, though, is an interesting one, Dave. What?
Like you said, right? So we've got just under 700 points in characters, and then you've got another 540 points in 3 PBCs. I think I'm like you. I look at this list and I'm like, yeah, you could go and park the natural expansion. You park the Rhino one. You slam it in sideways, so you're an inch off the wall, and it makes it difficult for anyone to come through it. Fine. You can then. I would definitely keep, if you're going to do that, I'd keep the Marines in the Rhino to launch out 8 and then get your charge off after if you need it, and leave the Rhino on the point. And also, once you've infected it, you could move off. The challenge is you don't really have a lot to replace that if it moves off, as well as put something on the middle and pressure your your opponent's kind of natural. So it doesn't look like there's a lot. Like, you're going to have to get aggressive with the PBCs if you're going to play this, and the drones simultaneously, and then probably leave 1 PBC on your home objective.
You can leave the pox at home. You've got 10 pox to do that.
Yeah, you could. One thing you got to watch out for is if you're playing like a long deployment edge or the big diagonal, and you push out, you're going to leave massive holes in your back line, which is going to be super easy for someone to come in and score, establish locus or behind enemy lines or whatever else. I think there's a low model count here, because whilst it looks pretty good, right? You've got two of the characters are tied up with the Plague Marines in a Rhino, which is then 3 units. 4 units in 1 unit, effectively. Then you've got 2 characters with the Death Shroud, which both could be off the table. That's another 4 units off the table. Then you can have Morty on, fine. Poxwalkers on your home. So I think you just run a risk of not being able to be where you need to be. You could basically lose board presence very quickly, I think, with a lot of this stuff kind of wrapped up and off the board.
Yeah, I agree. I think Plague Burst Crawlers are an interesting one. They really are. Like for me personally, I couldn't sit here right now and tell you this list wouldn't be better if those 3 Plague Burst Crawlers were just Predators.
Yeah. I absolutely will do for the points. 2 Predators with heavy Plague Bolters will do way more work than 2 PBCs with Plague Spitters.
Yeah. Now, if the question becomes different and this becomes a aggressive push list, Mortarian triple Plague Burst Crawls, 2 Fetid Bloat Drones pushing up at the same time is actually quite scary to deal with. Like, that's a lot of It's a lot of 2-up save, a lot of armor there. So you could potentially play it in that manner, which is not a bad thing. But it really comes down to your local meta as well, because if there's a lot of anti-tank in it, like, it's not... The reason Plague Burst Crawlers is still taking Plague Storm is because it's an overwhelming amount of armor. It's not just 3 PBCs, 2 drones, and a MOI. There's also 3 Predators, another drone, and then some people even go 2 more Predators, or some Haulers, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a Carnivore. Like, it's overwhelming amount of armor. Plague Burst Crawlers in the current meta are in a really weird place. There are some matchups they're really good in. Like, Eldar do not like being shot by indirect mortars, I'll tell you that for sure.
No.
But at the same time, Eldar are quick enough to get on top of those things. Which is like, so we have to see. I would honestly, like you said around here, let's have a look what you've got. Don't have close militia Predators. Okay, so he doesn't have Predators, that's fine. I would recommend picking up some Predators at some point if you don't mind the model, if you like the model. Predators are good. So they are very good to have. You have 1 War Dog ready. See, I would even like this if we potentially...
I know what you can say.
I'm just going to say Carnivore in like Strat Reserve, because
this drop 1 PBC, put it in a Carnivore.
This list plays passively very well, because you can get value routing. Your opponent has to push stuff out, otherwise you'll just rapid ingress on them, and the bloat drones can sort of do like early tradey skirmishy things and force things out. What a Carnivore would do to that list is, again, make the passive playstyle very, very strong, because at any point, like, screening out a 4-inch moving Death Shroud Terminators, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue,
but if you were to go onto your objective, and your opponent sits on their objective, we ask the question, can my opponent take my objective easily? 10 Plague Marines is 20 OC on an objective with Fight First. The answer's not really. That's quite hard to take back. Can an opponent hold theirs? Pretty easy. Not many people are running those big heavy OC units, but having a Carnivore that can come in, rapid ingress, move 14 and slam 8 OC on an objective can actually steal quite a lot of objectives. And if you do that even for 1 turn, what then happens is the game tempo is now in your opponent's hands. They have to do something. If you've both sat on primaries and you deny them one turn, they haven't denied you. It's now their turn to push into you because they've got to make something happen. And that's what the Plague Marine wants to happen, because when they push into you, then you disembark, move, charge, Mortarion can counter-charge, the PBCs can then come out with the Entropies and the Spitters, and then the Death Shroud start rapid ingressing and getting those hits and killing them. So, I would really like if you were to get that War Dog painted up, and honestly, I would probably even take it over the Death Shroud. I would take out 3 Death Shroud, and if you want to do this passive playstyle, because
you need another 30 points.
The character that goes with it, the Sorcerer Terminator.
Yeah, sure. And then you've got, you could either...
That gives you 180 points, which would then...
Yeah, you could either slam then 2 Nurglings together to make 1 6 and a 3, or you could... Because actually that would support the passive players to hold your opponent up.
Yeah, because...
And let you get into position.
I would... It's easy to stop Death Shroud getting in with Rapid Ingress, that you can force them to fight charge. Having to stop both a Lord of Contagion Death Shroud squad and a Carnivore, which are both very different profiles to deal with. One is fast and moves real quick and has good OC, and the other one hits like an absolute freight train. I mean, they both hit pretty damn hard. So I would drop one of the Death Shroud squads, put in the War Dog, drop the Terminator Sorcerer, like frees up 180 points. The War Dog is 140, so you've got 40 points floating then. So then, what can we do with the 40 points floating? You could then drop the Icon Bearer. I don't think you're going to need it, which would then give you 85 points, combine the Nurglings together, and then get like a 3rd Bloat Drone for spreading Contagion, or how many points? 40, 45, drop them. How many points do you say for the Nurgling squads together?
It's only 5, isn't it? Or 10?
Does it go to 50 or does it go to 60?
I think it goes to, 60. But either way, I think if you do that, that gets you the 90 points you need for your drone.
But if it saves us up to 100, you can also go double cultist instead. That's also an option.
Yeah, it's really true. Because then I see things like you could then put the Rhino on your natural expansion. You could then follow that up with some cultists. That then means that the Rhino can then leave that objective if it needs to, or the Marines can spring out and the Rhino can go off and do something else. It suddenly gives you another scoring replacement, or keeping your opponent kind of pressured in their half of the board and not worrying about them having to park this. We've talked about this loads, right? But the Rhino with 10 Plague Marines with 2 characters, 380 odd points parked on an objective doing nothing. It's a lot of points to sit there.
It is a lot of points to sit there. So Necro says, I feel like this is the biggest change just as I've heard from it. It's because this is my old style of list. This is passive defensive aid and playstyle. I know this list inside and out because it was my bread and... When Index Death Guard was awful, this was my bread and butter. I'd slap more against the 3 PBCs, I'd play an extremely strong neutral game, and then my opponent pushed into me, I'd punish the shit out of them.
And then take the game from there,
So I know this from like the back of my hand. So there's some suggestions I'd probably go for. Again, and that's because obviously we're suggesting you're working with your War Dog, because I don't want it to tell you to go buy 3 Predators, because obviously we like to suggest changes that you can make right now. You don't have to go and spend 100 quid on.
Exactly.
So I would I'm going to say drop 1 squad of Death Shroud in, because 1 squad as a utility deep strike tool is good enough. Again, put in the War Dog, take out the Sorcerer and Death Shroud, gives you that spare 40 points. Drop the Icon Bearer there as well, and then you can combine your Nurglings into 1 squad, which makes it cheaper, and you can fit in a 3rd Bloat Drone or a Blight Hall or whatever you want. Just that extra 3rd Demon Engine that can sort of like push out and do clever things and do will be quite good for you. You can even take...
It says, I mean... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you can even take 20 more Poxwalkers to go with Typhus.
Yeah.
That's really annoying to force your opponent to do something about.
It does say at the top as well, this is for a small tournament in America with the regular dense terrains for RTT. So if this is GW terrain, we've both had a relatively recent experience with that as well. There's still gaps to get between. So actually drones buzzing about between those spaces is pretty useful.
Oh no, Necros, I didn't mean it like that, by the way. I wasn't saying you would doubt him. It's just I just have a lot to talk about the passive playstyle because it was just my. I said thanks in the chat, but Kaz Keeley Burke, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. And if you did receive a membership, seeing if you did, please say thank you to Kaz. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to move on from this one because I will spend an hour talking about this. But
I know you will. What should we jump onto?
There's some changes I could suggest. So we've got someone else in the chat saying, yo, Aiden, could you take a look at my 1-2-50 list for an upcoming tournament? Locust Star, Locust Star, Locust Star, Locust Star.
Locust Star.
There's no hard dog. We'll do yours after this one. Discard into there.
Yep.
Locust Star.
Is the Discord name Locust Star?
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. It's
Locust Star. Got it.
Yeah. So we've got Death Guard, Plague Company. Death Guard starts from turn around 70 points. Double File Blightspawn, Typhus. We've got 2 5-man Plague Marine squads. Then we have a Rhino. Then we have a single squad of Cultists, an Annihilator, a Death Shroud Terminator squad, a Fetid Blood Drum with a Heavy Blight Launcher, another Fetid Blood Drum with a Heavy Blight Launcher, big squad of Poxwalkers, small squad of Poxwalkers, Beast of Nurgle, Nurglings. Okay. Right.
Well, first change is you haven't got a humorous name for your army. Tester is fine, but give it a good funny one.
There you go. You got some points as well. I'm really liking the Timu Redeemer of the Foul Blight spawn. In the smaller form, I'm less worried about needing to kill big bricks on the fight first, and the meta is packed with Marines. Here's the meta dominating Blood Angel list near them: 2 Impulsor, 2 Ballistas, 2 Captains with Company Heroes, 3 Jump Pack Intercessors, Intercessor Squad, and Scout Squads.
I would say as well, I actually really like the fact that somebody put in what's happening in their meta. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
if other people, I actually would suggest, that I know, not for everyone, but if you do know it off the top of your head, what's in your meta when you give us these lists, I think that'd be really helpful.
I agree. Okay, so right,
we're paying 12.50. We are Annihilated Destructor, Sorcerer 3 most of the time. Bang my points out. Really liking. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so if your meta is dominated by shooty Blood Angels, basically.
It's Blood Angels melee with 2 Ballistas.
2 Impulsors and 2 Ballistas. Yeah. So you got a bit of transport and.
The 2 Company Heroes are a pain in the ass with the captains. I won't lie. The fight first is going to help you, but I don't think it's going to hit back hard enough to stop them charging you. Because you don't have the buy up, you don't have the ability to make it super impactful.
Yeah.
Free jump back in is also incredibly bloody annoying. I won't lie. Right, so in this instance, you're not going to win the ranged duel here against 2 Ballistas. Because they're going to have 2 up save, they're going to be in cover, they're going to pop Armor Contempt. So your Heavy Blight Launchers have no AP. Your Predator Knight has AP 1, and then that dies the next turn because they shoot you back and kill it. Which is a pain in the ass, admittedly. So, I'm trying to think in my head now, do you instead just try and... Because we need to kill... The main thing to kill here is the 2 Company Hero squads and the Jump Back Intercessors.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, they are the biggest threat. Now, the double Foul Blight Spawn shooting at the top of the Rhino is going to do that. I won't lie, that is going to kill stuff. The one thing your opponent could potentially struggle with a little bit is he's got a Scout Squad, 3 Jump Back Intercessors, 2 Company Intercessors. And you can actually screen is not awful. Because it keeps 2 Ballistas back, keeps his Intercessor Squad back to screen the Scout. So yeah, it's not awful at screening, so it's not the worst. Death Shroud Terminator Squad with a Sorcerer in Terminator Armor. I think I changed that out for a, what you call it, Dave? LOC.
Yeah.
A lot of this,
I think this is, yeah.
A lot of this here is not massively 2 damage. The captains obviously are.
Captain is, yeah.
If you're going to be rapid ingressing onto something, you should be the one taking the fight to them, ideally. So if you're managed to get, so if you can have a trade where your opponent comes out of his impulsor, moves, Vantage comes to charge like one of your squads, then you can rapid ingress next to your squad, heroic on in, and then because you still have the strat for -1 damage, you can still use that. And company heroes aren't going to be great for killing you. Like I'm guessing it's lag. I'm guessing it's Lazarus Assault Group. So you got your T6, you got your 4-up invulnerable. The captains can be a little scary, but if you do it right on your rapid ingress heroic, they might not be able to actually swing at the target they want. What are the best marine kills we've got, Dave? That's what we need to ask. What are the best marine kills? The FBS is pretty good.
I was gonna. What I was actually just sorry. This is what I was just bashing into the app was actually it already right with 20 Poxwalkers, 2 Predator Destructors with Heavy Plague Bolters, the unit of 3 Death Shroud with the LOC, and 2 units of Cultists is already only at 670.
Ooh, okay.
Like I'm actually thinking you could do a fair job of getting cultists into like your natural expansion, your home covered with another 10 pox, for example. And you could throw another, you could even chuck 3 units of cultists in and just chuck another one on the middle and make them have to come onto the middle and then blow it away with a predator destructor. You can sit far enough back that they're not going to get to you. They're not going to get you turn 1. If they come through the wall into your natural where you've got cultists which you can just chevron into the wall or line against the wall, then they lose it next turn in a trade, and you'll have stickied it. Then you just need, and then you've got your 3 Death Shroud with the Lord of Contagion to deep strike in or rapid ingress as Aiden suggested. You can still put a Brigand in there, and even on what I've talked about already, you're still only then at 835 points. So you've still then got another 415 to play with. You've got your Destructors in there, which is great. Then you can still whack you've got a couple of drones. You've got a Fleshmare on 1. That's okay into infantry, and it's quite a fast response. And you could set it up for a rapid ingress. Sorry, for a heroic. I'm the same. I'm just looking at it going. There's a lot of.
I think that Blood Angels list would. Oh, I'm trying to think. If you were to put 20 pox, a big unit of 20 pox with Typhus in it. I'd basically just like stick with it with. Well, no, but I think what you need, right, is with these infantry setups, is you could play it so that actually you don't need to stick stuff out for the impulses to. So you can basically make him go, oh, well, the impulses are going to just sit here not really doing that much. And if you throw stuff onto the middle, you could force him to trade off the middle with his infantry because his impulses are going to be sitting back, which you can then, if you stick the destructors behind cover to shoot off that stuff, so you're getting cover against the impulses. You might lose him in return over a couple of turns, but then those things are not scoring points for him. You basically want to kind of to win against this kind of Blood Angel list is you need to basically lure the infantry out and then kill it, and then have some stuff to just basically out trade afterwards, which you can do, and you can make him keep things back because if you've got your deep strike threat from a 3-man Death Shroud Terminators and a Beast of Nurgle potentially and some Nurglings, you've got stuff he has to keep all his big bots and tanks back for. My question would be, I really like the Beast of Nurgle here because the Beast of Burgle is
it's great value in a 125. Yeah, 1250 points is great value.
It's great, and there's also because they're going to be winning you on 5. Like jump pack instances are going to struggle. They're going to struggle roll or at least spend a lot of some CP in there to kill a Beast of Nurgle. So that and it's only 65 points. That Beast of Nurgle probably can eat most things in this game. Like on the chat, and it'll trade up. Is what I mean. Sorry. Because
and he's going to have to spend way more to kill it.
Yeah, so actually, I really like the Beast of Burgle. I mean, I'd even consider because it's got Scout now as well. So can it replace the role of the Scouts in this? Because what are the Scouts going to do in this matchup? Because they're going to hide behind walls, so you move in advancing. There's no Boil Blight plays to be made. There's none.
No.
You could. The only good thing I can see for that is if you're on Search and Destroy matchup. And you get turn 1 scout sticking it. It forces them to basically sacrifice a unit.
Yeah.
But I think the Beast Nurgle just does that job here better in general. You do have a Poxwalk as well. In this one as well, you could just put Nurglings on home objective because that would free up another 50 points potentially from.
He's not indirecting them off.
Yeah, you've obviously got to be a little careful of jump intercessors coming in. But because you've got a few,
as long as you've got a prayer. That's why I was kind of saying if you have a Pred Destructor instead of an Annihilator that's just kind of sitting behind kind of ruin or floating at the back, if he puts anything down there, you'll even if it does come down, you'll take it out next turn very easily. I wouldn't even, and I wouldn't. I'm not saying I encourage this for everybody, but I overwatch if I've got the CP a lot with them. You get so many shots with them with heavy blight, with the heavy play bolters and the havoc launcher and the autocannon in half range that you will pick up stuff, and a 3-man would go down to that.
Yeah, I would. So right here, I'm thinking. So we cut because the Nurglings can infiltrate and stop the scouts going somewhere, which is okay, but I think I just use them to hold home. And then
I think you just need something to put on there instead, just to make him have to come out.
Yeah, and I think these Poxwalkers can then be freed up for like 50 points, because then
Yeah.
I drop that, potentially drop the cultists here, and I'm trying to think, because then we have points to play around with them. We can put the Annihilate, they can put a Destructor in, which would be quite nice.
Yeah.
You say here you like the Foul Blight Spawn staying in here and sort of spraying out the top of the truck. Don't mind that. I don't know if do we need 2? Because I mean, if we can find 5 points there, one of them can become a Plaguecaster, which is like.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like a lot more shots.
And that's a Marine killer.
That is genuinely Marine Shredder. So you could do that as well, which would be quite nice. Now, the 2 5-man Plague Marines, because the thing is, okay, when we run 5-man Plague Marines, we use them to be able to basically get out of a Rhino and flip an objective. And yeah, I would instantly spend 5 points to put this into a Destructor. Destructor with the auto cannon, the Plague Heavy Bolters, I think you kind of just ignore the sodding ballistas as much as possible.
That's what I mean. I think this is a draw out the infantry and ignore the don't expose stuff for his bots to shoot. And if he sticks something out, like I think once you kill the infantry, he's got to use the tanks and the bots to try and score points. At which point they're fairly neutered.
I do agree with that. I think we can cut the cultists. I honestly think you could like. You've got one squad of Plague Marines. They can hold versus JPI with a fight first guy in there. I don't know what the second squad's doing.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll be honest with you, because in my head, this second squad is how many points off becoming? So if we get rid of the second squad, we're 20 points off being having.
What you mean?
Having a
you mean
6.
go up to 7?
You could do that. You could have a 7-man squad, but I just want points because I'm thinking a 6-man Death Shroud brick in here. With the Sorcerer up, what fights that in that list?
In that list, yeah, it's a good point. If you get that, I guess the slight, no, you're right, because he's gonna have to leave a hole somewhere, because in a 1250 game, you've got the captain and the jump packs have got to come forward. The scout squad's got to infiltrate. The intercessor, fine, and then if it makes him leave two ballistas and 2 impulses, screening out his home objectives and things. Yeah, you've got options then. You can either drop the 6-man into mid-board to just shore things up, and then free up units to chuck onto the middle and then trade them off. Or if he leaves a massive hole in his back, then you drop them in there, and then you can't fight them.
Because the company heroes don't. They can hit decent, but really all the damage is coming from the champion and the captain. Which will be damage 2 weapons, because all they can take. So they're going to have to damage 1. And 6 Death Shroud swinging back, especially if you play Company of Access to Sustained, will kill that unit. They don't have imbalance. That unit will die. Like, honestly, to do that, he'd have to kill the 6-man, he'd have to grenade and triple jump back in as a charge it to do all the mortals on the charge. But then he's going to have issues getting everything to base for the rolling the dice for the mortals. And even
1 or 2 of them left with the LOC is going to kill them all.
Well, you'd have the Sorcerer Terminator, wouldn't you, in there? I think a 6-man. So rather than having 2 5-man fight first, I like the 1 5-man fight first, because again that's good protection against JPIs, because they probably do kill it back, and I reckon they'd really struggle to kill a big 6-man there. So
they would, and also the over if you position them right and make them have to come around a wall, like, then they're gonna have to be very well positioned and then get a good charge, or he has to put them slightly exposed. And if you keep your character and the spewer in the right place, then you overwatch them.
Yeah. So Zibo Wang as well. Thank you very much for going to play, mate. Really appreciate the support there. Thank you. Tentacles as well.
Yeah, music. I was going to say music drive. We're not encouraging tailoring lists. It's just the way he's talked about meta dominated by Blood Angel lists. If he's literally in a meta where there's 2 in every 5 players is running Blood Angels, then I would be.
To a casual game, don't tailor list. If you go into club, don't tailor list. If you're going to a tournament and you know the best player there is your biggest threat, 100% you tech for that person.
Mm-hmm. If you can take on everyone else, then tech for that last player. The final boss.
I think at 250 points, a 6-man Death Shroud with -1 damage for the 295 points it is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's so
There's
cheap.
it's super cheap.
and it'll go a lot further than five more plague marines. Because the problem is as well, if you run double Foul Blight Spawn and 2 5-man plague marines, only one of them gets to fight first. I'll just charge both.
Yeah.
Like,
In 1,250 points, 6 Death Shroud with a character is terrifying.
So I reckon you can drop these plague marines here, the second squad. I reckon you can probably drop the cultists because you got the Nurgling.
You've got Beast, yeah. And Nurgling, yeah.
Or you can drop the Poxwalkers and just use your Nurglings to hold home.
Yeah.
That's also fine. I'd probably go with that, to be honest, because the cultists are useful for scoring stuff. Over the Poxwalkers, and then use the points to upgrade that Predator to Destructor, and upgrade the Death Shroud Terminator. I get another 3 Death Shroud Terminators in there, and then whatever you got left on your points to play around with, have a look, see what else you can get. Made like a Deadly Pathogen or something like that, or maybe you can get something else in there. But I think to counter that, because 2 Ballistas doesn't really do great into those Death Shroud, because in cover you go to ground if you need to, like against the rockets. They're only AP1, you get 3 up saves versus it. Sorry, AP2, so you get 3 up saves versus it. And it's only 2 last cannon shots, so I'd say like you -1 to wound as well, and it's not twin link.
Yeah,
so,
and he's gonna whiff on one of them.
Yeah, Math says he'll hit both because he'll oath you or he'll have rerolls, and then he'll drop one, and then it's a 50-50 chance one of your guys takes one. And
then and worst you lose one guy.
Yeah, and that is both. And if all the blisters shooting him, they're not shooting the blood runs, they're not shooting the predator. Which
you're scoring.
You get to swing on stuff. So I'd go with that, mate. Okay, cool. So let's go on to another one. So who else is in the chat here? B-Star MVPs as well. They are very, very good.
Yeah, they're cool. And Tentacles just said that went to second RTT on Saturday, finished 2-1 and 7th of 24, which was running Playstorm stroke parking lot list. So yeah, nice job.
Nice. That's awesome. Good work. 7th place finish. Can't get much better than that. So who else is in the chat and has theirs? Noir. We said we'd do Noirs, didn't we? Noir, where are you, Noir?
That was a bit further up, I think.
That was Og, Honey Monster. See, Noir.
Nordog, yeah.
Is it the
just
bottom
below Atlas.
Below Atlas. Below Atlas. No, I got it there. Okay, cool. So we have a Foul Blight Spawn, Malignant Plaguecaster, Rocking Living Plagues. That's the +3-inch contagion range.
Yeah.
And up, so we got Plague Boss.
I want Plague Boss. Let's go.
Mortarion and Typhus. Then we have.
If you want to make us happy, take a Plague Boss.
Does make us happy. So, oh my good lord. 20, 30 Plague Marines, 2 squad to 10, 1 squad, 2 squad to 5.
Okay, nice.
The 10-man squads are mixed weapons, it looks like. 1 melter gun, 1 blight launcher, and then it's a plasma gun.
Yep.
And then a plague spewer, and then so 1-1-1. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just my head's at this. So okay. So we got those. Then we got the 5 bands have double. So melter plasma. Drop the bolt guns straight away. Bolt guns. There's no point taking bolt guns.
No point.
Ever. Take heavy plague weapons. Take blight launcher. Take anything literally other than bolt gun if possible. Yeah, very bad. 3 rhinos, yep, that's fine. Obviously, you need a rhino for you guys. 2 times 3 Death Shroud Terminators, 2 times Fetid Blood Runs, so 3 Fetid Blood Runs, 1 with Flesh Mode, 2 with Plague Spitters, 1 Pogwalkers, and 20 Pogwalker. Hell, love a good Pogwalker. Love a good Pogwalker. So, I have 2 Lords of Contagion, 2 times Sorcerer in Terminator Armor, 3 Predators, 6 War Dogs, 20 Colours, 20 Pogwalkers.
You're a good man.
Right, okay.
That's a good question. Right, so, back to the top.
What are our characters for the? So we have Typhus.
We've clearly got a Plague Bus.
Yeah.
Or have we? Yeah, we've got a Plague Bus that's got 2 Malignant Plaguecasters running solo, 2 5-mans in it potentially, 2 10-man Plague Marine squads in the other 2 rhinos, 1 with a Foul Blight Spawn. We got Morty. We got Typhus. Typhus is going to be running with the 3-man Death Shroud.
There's 2 freelancers. So we have one without lead.
Yeah, one without, one with Typhus.
Or we could be with 20 Pogwalkers.
We could be, he could be with the 20 Pogwalkers. Are they just like flipping little discs? Are they the whole time? We got 2 bloke drones with Plague Spitters. Okay, for a bit of sweep off. Nice. 10 Pogwalkers for the home objective, and 1 times 24. mid-board and Typhus, or Typhus running solo, or with the Death Shroud. It's an interesting combo.
So this to me is Rhino Rush.
It's Rhino Rush.
It's Rhino Rush. Let's be honest.
It's Rhino Kart.
It's Mortarian Rhino Rush. So, which means that we have to be aggressive. So the 5-man Plague Marines are great for just getting out, flipping an objective, being annoying. That's fine. The two, I don't know how I feel about the two 10-mans. I feel like if you're going to invest in a 10-man Plague Marine unit, I want a Biological Putrefy. I'm not saying you want Biological Putrefy and a Foul Blight Spawn, but if I want it to hit hard. So for me,
I can't take a 10-man without both of them.
Yeah, I think you can do it with one or the other, but I definitely think you want at least the Biological Putrefy because the damage is.
If I was going to take it, I was going to say if I was going to take it with one, it would be the Biop.
Yeah, because you could use one to sit on your natural objective with a Foul Blight Spawn. That's fine, and at least want the more aggressive one playing with the with the Biop in there. So I'm instantly like my head's like, okay, where do we find a Biop here? I also really want to find a thingamajigger. What's the word I'm looking for? I hate when I can't think of one. I'll do a character for the Death Shroud. I don't like. I would rather this be a 1/6. Yeah, there's not one in here though. There's just Typhus.
No, there isn't, but he does say in his notes at the bottom he has got 2 of them.
Yeah, I would like an LOC to go with the other Death Shroud Terminates, or I would combine that into a 6-man. I really like the -1 to wound is pretty nice.
And also, I don't in a nice way. I still don't see really the benefit of running Typhus with the DSTs these days. If I'm honest, I think it's unless you're playing a very particular kind of Orcs matchup or something, and you want to, or a very 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 heavy melee matchup, and you know that's the case, and you just want to be a bit of a dick, then whack him in there. But I think you get way more value out of the rerolls.
Yeah, and so with this being melee rush now, so it's all about putting pressure on your opponent straight away.
Yeah.
So we got the 3 rhinos. I'm also thinking, could you potentially get away with 2 rhinos? Because if you're going to use one of the 10-mans to sit on your natural objective, you could use the rhino as like just a staging point. So
I know. The old drop off and pick up.
Yeah, disembark. They move. So disembark 3. They move the 5 and they advance D6 onto the objective.
Easy.
And the second unit just hops in.
Yeah, agreed.
And now those 2 rounds can go and drive forward. It would save you 85 points, which would let you pick up like straight up. You can just get a hauler. Like haulers are good in aggro list because people don't like multi-metals coming close to them, and it's more demon engine pressure, and it can just tag stuff and be really annoying. So you could do that. The 20 Poxwalkers. Do 20 Pox?
I was looking at that as well. Yeah. I think if your 10 are going to sit at home, then I mean, are the 20? You're going to basically just throw them on the middle and just basically go right, come and shift them off, and then I'm gonna hurt you if you come near it.
Which isn't the worst with like 2
It's not the worst idea at all. Yeah, because then if they're basically what to Aiden's point, what you've got to make your opponent do here is decide what it is they're going to try and get rid of. So you're going to rhino rush pressure them, and if you dump 20 Poxwalkers on the middle, it's actually not a bad thing to go. Well, they're potentially scoring there. You can't get to the other one behind the wall, and I've got 2 rhinos with 10 Plague Marines in it, or 1 with 10 in it, and the Plague Blast, which could come on from reserve in turn 2, and then pick up something that's coming out. That should check. I think that's your real question.
You know, I actually don't mind the reserve Plague Blast in this one. Like a Rapid Ingress Plague Blast is actually pretty good. I mean,
I think so. And what's Morty doing in all this as well?
So I think if this is a throw forward list, like 3 blow drones throwing forward with 20 Poxwalkers at the same time, 2 rhinos full of Plague Marines. One's job is to drip feed 5 onto your opponent's objective for 2 turns in a row, because basically, so your entire goal of this is for you need to get to like turn 4. So you want turn 2 and turn 3 your opponent to score only the home primary.
Yeah.
You put the 20 Poxwalkers in the middle. Your opponent is dealing with Mortarion. Your opponent is dealing with all the Plague Marines and the Rhinos. And then you drop a big 6 Death Shroud blob in, or a 2-3 mans. Now they're going to deal with that all the time. The Poxwalkers need to just sit on the middle objective. They don't push further. I mean, obviously they can get charged, so maybe do that. But the point is, if they want to take you off primary, they need to shoot the least valuable unit, which is 20 Poxwalkers, whilst the rest of it is in the face. So they're very unlikely to do it, which is annoying for them. So you can put Typhus in there. I'm fine with that. But what I would like to see if you're going to do that is I would potentially drop you could, like I said, you could drop one of the rhinos because you could do the whole rhino shuffle. You could then use those points to pick up an LOC, and then you can have 2 squads of Lead Death Shroud, or you can just combine these into a 6 Slam Typhus. Again, I prefer Typhus with Poxwalkers or solo. I don't like him in Death Shroud. I prefer LOC, so I would still drop the Rhino and put the LOC in there instead. Your 10 Poxwalkers holding home, and I want you to pressure your opponent's secondary with the Rhino with the 2/5 Marines in it. Every turn, I want that Rhino to be in a spot where it can get 5 guys out. Even if you advance, I don't care about charging. I don't care about you dealing damage to those 5 on Plague Marines.
Jump them on this side of the wall.
That 10 OC stands on that point and goes, you don't get primary. And I want you to do that for turn 2, and I want you to do that for turn 3. If you keep, because if you have a 10 man of yours sat on your objective, keep it nice and held, and your opponent's been denied theirs twice, they are now, if you've scored, especially if your Poxwalkers have survived, because there's so much stuff in the face and they're scoring middle, you're going to be like 15-15, and your opponent's going to be 5-5. That is very hard to come back from. Being 20 primary down is very, very hard.
That's 4 good secondary cards.
Yeah, quite
to catch up on top of their secondary score they are scoring.
Yeah, and your drones and your rhinos are still there to be able to do it. Because again, if you disembark the 10-man aggressive Plague Marine squad, Plague Marines die, but Plague Marines being dead is like a lot easier to stomach when, again, your opponent, by the time they've cleared out, they've got 0 primary, they've got 5 primary. Like, God forbid.
And your objective, and your objectives are sticky as well, so you can come off of those points and throw them at them and make them have to deal with it.
Yeah, as soon as turn 3 is over and your opponent doesn't have uppy downy, that third 10 Plague Marine squad just starts bombing it towards the opponent again. Because even if they're just getting shot at, that's fine, because it's more bodies that need to be shot.
Yep.
So I actually don't mind. Like I said, the only real change I'm considering here is combining either the Death Shroud into a big 6-man, just to make it absorb as much firepower as possible, or finding a way to get it, and potentially consider dropping the Rhino if you can get away with the Rhino shuffle. If you feel like you need the 3rd Rhino, keep it. But if you think you can get away with the Rhino shuffle, you're going to go 10 man onto your natural, next 10 man gets in this Rhino, and then both Rhinos set off and go and do what they want to do. They would just let you get that extra character, or you can even, like I said, get a Hauler or something like that. And really from there, it's just playstyle. But this list will still work, but you've got to be aggro. Yeah. You've got to be aggro, and you've got your game plan.
Just be aggressive with it.
Yeah, it's all about macro for this one, and your game plan is: I put 20 Poxwalkers on the middle objective, and then I spend all my efforts either putting shit in my opponent's face that is scary, but I want you to focus that effort mainly on their natural objective. I want you to keep taking it off them. It's fine if you bleed out. It's fine if you're trading down, as long as you're not doing it in a ridiculous rate. Like, if you're going to put it out there and, like, in front of, like, a guard army and get tabled in turn 1, like,
that can kill all of it in a go. Yeah, don't do that.
But make your opponent pick the poison, and always remember, the more dice someone takes, the better it is in these pressure lists. So instead of looking at your CP and thinking, okay, I'm going to save it for +1 AP, I'm going to save it for sustained, save it for smoke, save it for cloud of flies, because the more
make
bullets,
them eat dice.
Yeah, if the Rhino takes 2 activations instead of 1 activation, that's not going anywhere else now. Even if you look again, if someone's also always going to die, like if 6 Eradicators look at your Rhino, don't pop smoke, it's going to die.
Do the math a little bit.
Do the math a little bit, but like if someone puts even like a Lancer, it's 2 shots. Sure, it has a real, but you make it hit on 4s. If it drops a single one of them, it doesn't one-shot the Rhino. Now someone else is going to come out and one-shot it. So always think of it that way. But is it cool
always, and if you're not sure what your opponent's got, just do it. I'm sure everyone does this, but a little bit of just ask the question every single time. How many shots is this? What strength is it? What's damage? Like, just check it out and then look at it quickly and be like, great. Well, if I can make you just drop, if it goes for 50-50 and you're going to drop half of these dice in the shooting phase with Cloud of Flies, cool. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. And one question in the chat from Charlie Dupuy. I've been running a 6-man Death Shroud Terminator and running it with either my Lord of Contagion or Typhus. Would it be a good idea to drop my MBH and add some Poxwalkers to Typhus? Completely depends if you think Poxwalkers get value in the area that you play. If you can force bad trades with Poxwalkers, or they're going to be able to regenerate a lot of stuff, then yeah, go for that. Would this list be better as Flyblown Host? No. The problem being that you don't get the Scout in the Rhinos, and this is a rushdown list, and Flyblown Host has an initial burst of movement, and then after that, it doesn't. Flyblown is basically 60 Poxwalker detachment, and it just clogs up the board and is annoying.
Clog them up, sit on things. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this
is a get in your face and kill, and you need play company for that.
Yeah. I wouldn't go. Flyblown Host is a very specific playstyle. It might change when the Codex comes out, It could go through
Yeah.
like it could become the best attachment we have. Who knows? But I not for this kind of playstyle. Like Rhino Rush wants Contagion because you can even take. Again, if you're trying to bleed your opponent out as long as possible, you can take Minus 1 Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill, get in the face, get on top of them so they can't escape it, and now everything's taking longer to kill you.
And -1, like we said, that eats dice itself as well.
Yeah, but Flyblown Host, it doesn't deal enough damage. Your opponent like genuinely has to be terrified of 10 Plague Marines in play company with -1 save, because it will kill them. If the unit inside isn't as scary, like the rush to kill them isn't that important, so that means that I can shoot the Poxwalkers instead because I'll deny you points because the Plague Marines aren't as scary. Whereas when I sit there with a Plague Marine bus and be like, cool, you either kill me or I walk around that corner and kill everything that's there.
And smash whatever I'm going to hit,
Yeah, so it's a different kinds of threats. Travis, thank you very much for the $7 super chat.
Thank you, Travis.
Very
kind.
1K Crusade. So I don't play Crusade. I will be 100% honest with you. I don't know if
I can tell you what. I've only played one Crusade like this, and that was the first time I've ever put less than 2,000 points. I started learning to play with 2,000 points. So, but in my 1,000 point list, I actually think I put a 10-man fights first Plague Marine unit in a Rhino, 2 lots of cultists, some drones to float around the outside, and basically what I was just playing was neither of us have got very much stuff. When you play a 1,000-point Crusade, you've usually got one objective marker in the middle, and what you want to make sure is that you can throw something on there, make your opponent come out, and then crush it. And then the more they come out to try and then deal with that, you then have got things like drones to float around the outside and pick it up. Also at 140 points, one of the things you could put in is you could put one Predator Destructor with heavy plague bolted on it. Very, very good. You'll find that at 1,000 points, most people will fill their list with infantry. So you just need stuff that just hoovers it up.
Excellent. So that's all we're probably going to go for tonight because we've been on for an hour, and I've promised the missus I'll watch film with her, so don't want to get in too much trouble. So
what film?
We're not sure yet. We're going to see what is on.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's not the Minecraft movie.
I might need a lot more wine to have to try and watch that. So
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Anything sort of to just cover quickly before we head off for the night, Mr. Dave?
No, look, we won't do the usual horse spiel. We'll save that for you lucky people for the end of tomorrow's stream. But no, just to say that we do have our lovely Baron of Dice are here. Aidan, obviously, I'm hoping to see you pretty soon, so I will I'll give you some of these until you get your own ones.
Mine are on the way. I made a group order with all the fellas from the UK,
amazing.
And we have all because we grouped together. We have all saved. Each person has saved £27 on shipping. Because
amazing, that's fantastic. So I did give Will 10 of them when I saw him at Sheffield. No, just to say, head over to Baron of Dice. Look in the description down below. You can get the lovely, and they've really grown on me since I used them. I'm going to be honest. I've been rolling the same Death Guard Horus Heresy dice for almost 4 years, and I've got and it was a real had to wrench myself away from them to take them to Sheffield and not use them. But genuinely, I've loved rolling these. They were really good. My opponents have loved them. I had people come over to the table and be like, those are great dice. Where'd you get them? And then I took great pleasure in saying they were DRP dice. So, nice. Yeah, do check that out.
Chris Bailey in the chat, by the way. Thanks for the feedback in last week's Plague Surgery, and took tips on the tempo play, and I ended up going undefeated last weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Nice, man.
Yeah, just to say that, and then check out drpstore.com if you want to get hold of any merchandise that just supports the channel. So I think we'll leave it there from my side. And anything from you, Aidan?
Yeah, so very quickly, Prometheus Williams, am I a round or a square gentleman? I do not care which side my rolly dice roll, as long as they are pretty. But if I had to choose, I'm prone to a rounded corner. I don't really mind too much though. And thank you very much, Music Drive, who has got the Bar of Dice. Thank you.
Oh so yes, much. Music Drive. Well done. And also they should be. I think they're actually back in stock now as well.
Yes, they are. We chat this morning. They definitely are. So one last thing. Join us tomorrow for a very, very special stream. It's not special, but basically, I am at an RTT next Monday, and we are doing something we did last year, which is very fun. Which is the fact that if you join into our stream tomorrow, the chat is making the list. and it can be as bad
It
as
was
you want
fun.
it to be. Last time, I had to take only bolt gun plague marines led by a deadly pathogen plague surgeon. I had to take Rotagus before everyone started actually realizing Rotagus was pretty good, and I played him. I was like, actually, he's pretty good.
You were like, yeah, he's pretty shit hot. And I think wasn't it you took a Rhino, but it could only have one character in it, and the Plague Marines could not get in it.
Yeah, and the character was never allowed to leave.
Yeah. And the character couldn't ever debust. So it isn't even just what units you can take; it is what potentially those units are allowed to do. But I will say that is super chat territory only.
Yeah, and Necros coming in the list. Yes, you can. Last time it was called Bigfoot's Rotting Toe.
Yeah.
And I had to take Light Lords as well. And I still ended up going 2-1 with that list.
2-1, yeah, you did, yeah.
So,
but honestly, it was a really good stream, and actually, I think we remembered it because we looked back just recently. We saw I saw in my recommended list that YouTube threw up the year ago 3K stream, and we looked back at a screenshot of that I sent it to Aiden, and we were laughing about how we've kind of how much it's moved on since then. So this is should pretty much be the 9.5K stream to build Aiden's next list. So make sure you drop in on that. Nudge anyone else in the Discord to come and watch it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Will's willing to lend me any models that I might need. Make me a Land Raider if you want, and we'll try our best. And of course, that means following that up at some point will be an event recap stream to go over the 3 games.
Yeah.
People enjoy
Nice.
those things. So so tune in. Necros wants it to be called It's Nurgling Time. It might be. That's a great name. It is a great name. So tune in for that one.
Cool with that.
But for now, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I will leave you a bit of Death Guard music on the way out. But for now, from myself and from Mr. Dave, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for everyone that's chatted and been in the chat and been involved. And we will catch you all on the next episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast. Good night, everyone. See you soon.
Good night.
The blackened sky we rise, wings of death, clouds of flies. The crag will burn, the pure will fall. Mortarian's wrath will consume them all. Ultimately pride crumbled in the dust. Your emperor's night can't stop the rust. Disease and rot by your final breath. Now kneel before the reaper's death. I am the plague, I am the rot. The end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for life. Now your shining world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. My cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's plague, watch its glory dies. The reaper falls to a runner's sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. My crown is buried by my hand. Blue and gold, once proud, once bright, now swallowed whole by endless night. I am decay, and I will feast. Your chapter falls beneath my feet. Gleaming suns will face my wrath. In every breath, your lungs turn black. Your noble heart, I turn to ash in my shadow. Your hopes will crack. I am the plague, I am the rot. The end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for life. Now your shining world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. My cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's blade, watch its glory dies. The angel falls, your runner's sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. My crown is buried by my hand. My crag, what's the truth of the stars? Now lies broken, tainted with my scars. I am your doom, your final breath. Mortarian comes, delivering death. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. My cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's blade, watch its glory dies.